Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Big Love. Real Talk with Big Love. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Big Love. Here we go again. Real Talk. Real Talk with Big Love. Hey, welcome to Real Talk with Big Love. And of course, I'm your host, Leon Big Love Wilson. Well, today's problem for me is kids and COVID. Now, if you've seen this show before, you know I've mentioned that I have three young kids, and they are in three different schools. Now, we've talked about the issue with COVID and how it's affected us and how we've contracted COVID and all those different things. But there is something that most people are not talking about, and so I wanted to bring it to the forefront today. Every day I receive emails, and these emails come from the principals of each one of the three schools. And it outlines how many people have been diagnosed positive with COVID. Okay, this is good to know. The more information, the better. And each day there's usually one, maybe two. And I'm sure they reach out to the people who have came in contact with that particular child, and they let them know, and they go through all of those things. So 1, 2, every day. I mean, every day. Well, about a week and a half ago, I get an email from one of the kids' school. And it said that day, 18 kids tested positive for COVID. Now remember, I'm normally getting 1 and 2. This came from one school, and it said 18 kids tested positive for COVID. So I'm upset, to say the least. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But the same day, I get another email from one of the other principals at the other school. 13 kids and 4 teachers tested positive. This is one day. And now I don't know what to think. What then happened? Is there some type of huge breakout that's going on? I really don't know what's going on, to be honest. And then at the end of the day, I get the last email, and there's another 13 kids testing positive. This is one day. Now, leading up to this, is the school board in my area had a meeting, and it was an outrageous meeting. It was jam-packed with parents. Now, I live in a red state, and so there's a certain ideology here. So in this meeting, the majority of the parents with no mask, I might add, are screaming and hollering at the school board. And you know why? The school board wanted to shut down the schools for a couple of weeks because obviously there has been a huge uptick. Well, the parents didn't want the schools shut down. They demanded that the schools stay open. Now, I get it. I get it. In some regard, parents have to go to work. I have to go to work. And parents with young kids, they can't afford to stay home with a child. I get that. I get that. I get it. Been there actually. But one thing that we've learned from a year of COVID at the very beginning in 2020 is that kids don't learn, they don't learn at all at home. That home training thing that they had did not work. Basically, all of our kids across the board really lost the entire year. I don't know how else to describe it, but that's what happened. Anyway, the school board under pressure not to close the schools, and so they didn't. Okay, I understand that. But this is what ticks me off right here. They removed the ban on mask, the mandate. They removed the mandate. I believe I mentioned this on another show. You won't close the schools, and then you don't want anyone to wear a mask? And it just blows up, and all these kids are being infected. They're coming home in droves because they're infected, because you don't want them to wear masks. This is crazy. I understand your views and freedoms and all. I get that too. I get that. But we all have freedoms. Just like we have freedoms when we get in the car, but we have to wear a seatbelt. We have to stop at a stoplight, a stop sign. We have freedoms. Freedoms not to go 100 mile an hour down a 25-mile-an-hour street, a school zone. Wow, what is going on? There was a time when we would protect the kids, no matter what. As parents, you will do whatever it takes. You would die for your child. Yes. But are you telling me that there are people out here today that maybe they don't believe in COVID? Maybe they believe in a government conspiracy. I don't know what kind of conspiracy it would be. I heard someone say that this is a purge. This is a purge. Well, there's a problem with that theory. It seemed to me if the government was going to do a purge, they would want to purge the people who didn't listen to them, right? They would want to purge the unvaccinated, right? That's who they would want to purge. The people that listen and do what what the government tells them to do are the people that they want to stay around, right? So I don't think it's a purge. Some people say that in the shot there's a miniature tracking device. Well, they don't need that because we're walking around with this. We're being tracked daily. We're being listened to daily with these devices, with Alexa, with Google, with what? That's already happening. Do you know that they can listen to you through your TV? Come on. But what about the kids? What are we going to do about these kids? Now, last week, my daughter had some symptoms. The nurse called me. Well, what's wrong? She says, well, your daughter has two of the symptoms that are identified as COVID symptoms. And I said, well, what is it? What symptoms does she have? And the nurse said she has a slight cough and a runny nose. a slight cough and a runny nose. It's cold season. It's you know it's cold outside. It's kids don't dress properly. Uh, they want to run out. I left my jacket in my locker. What? Snow outside. You got your gym shoes on. What? You're wearing sneakers when you should have your boots on. Yeah, yeah. Your nose is running. Yes, yes. But does everything mean COVID? She said, "Well, sir, we can't take any chances." And I told her I appreciate her. I appreciate what she's doing. She's keeping my kids safe as well. Obviously, when I picked up my child, brought her home, gave her the test, negative. So of course I'm going to send her back. Well, one slight problem. My kid takes the bus. Bus driver's out with COVID. Well, he probably caught COVID from a busload of kids that can't wear masks or don't want to wear masks. Now, let me say something about this. At the schools, the masks are not mandated. But if you want to wear a mask, you can. Well, that's good. I want to know who wants to wear a mask. Now, I wear a mask whenever I go out, whenever I'm around people, when I'm around people at work, I put on a mask. But who wants to wear a mask? Because I don't. I don't want to wear a mask. When they dropped the mandate, all the kids either took their mask completely off or they bring their mask down either under their nose or on their chin. And then there's mask shaming. You wearing a mask. You know how kids are. Peer pressure, bullying, all this is still going on today about something that is deadly as COVID. A lot of that is brought on by their parents. Some of the parents believe it's a hoax. They don't take it serious enough, and they pass that attitude down to their kids, and so now the kids believe that this is a joke. Well, I'm here to tell you, I had COVID, and I don't recommend it. And people who've had it, they know exactly what I'm saying. There's such thing as long-term COVID. That's what you have after you test negative, but you continue to have issues. And at this time, there's no cure for that either. Really? What's going on with these kids? Why don't we protect the kids? I don't understand. If you don't want to wear a mask, if you don't believe in it, what if you're 99.99% sure? But are you going to risk your kid for 1%? You're going to risk your kid. If just one kid dies, you're going to risk your kid to be that one? Are you willing to gamble for their life? I'm not. And these parents at the school board, I get it. I get it. You have to work. Single parents, one kid, two kids, three. You have to work. You have to put food on the table. You gotta provide shelter for your kids. I get it. You need them in school. I get it. But the school board is put in place to do the hard things. And right now, the hard thing is a mask mandate, even in a Republican state. Somebody has to be the grown-up here. Somebody has to be the grown-up. This thing, I'm getting ready to change my tagline on my show. So my show is called Real Talk with Big Love, but my tagline is going to be crazy is the new normal. Crazy is the new normal. And what I'm going to talk about on this show, and I'm going to bring on guests as well, but we're going to talk about this new society that we seem to be in, where it's just crazy that if you would have said some of these things 4 years ago, three years ago, people would look at you and call you crazy because they wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't believe it. Crazy is the new normal. Yeah. This is it, and it's not a good thing. What about our kids? I don't have all the answers. This is a this is just a conversation that we're having. We're talking about it. Sometimes you need to vent, but I need people to hear me, and I need you to speak up too. And even if you don't have any kids, you were a kid at one time and you needed somebody to look after you. Well, that hasn't changed. It's the same thing today. So help us out. Go to the school boards. Talk to these people. Let them know that you at least want the kids protected, if nothing else. Well, listen, that's the end of tonight's show. That's the end of of my rant. But I appreciate you. And I just want you to give big love to everyone you meet. And just stay blessed. And I'll see you next time.